This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Although maybe not as good an afternoon as we would like, obviously, with the news with Jalen Ramsey, as we try to find out what is going on with Jalen Ramsey as he was carted off the field in practice today. Not good. Not good. It's not good. But, we can't overreact yet until we actually know what's going on because, it might be a tweak or something like that. But man, I know some were out there throwing cramps, maybe, and all that. It's worse than cramps. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just tweaked a ligament. Maybe he strained something. Maybe he pulled something. Maybe he slightly tore something, or maybe he really tore something. I don't know, but something's going on there, and we'll find out. I'm trying to find out myself. Once we get the word, we'll let you know what's going on with Jalen Ramsey. But I am working every angle possible to try to find out if there's anything going on. The fact that I'm not getting any response, actually, that gets me a little nervous. Normally if there's nothing going on or if it's not that serious, they'll call me back right away. They'll text me back. They'll send me some kind of a smoke signal from somewhere. The fact that all is quiet and nobody's responding, I'm not comfortable with that. I got to be honest. I'm not comfortable with that. So we'll see what happens with Jalen. We will find out. So we'll talk about that. We've got the Marlins, by the way, off today. Tomorrow they will start their set against Detroit. And remember, we have Youth Fair Day down at the stadium. And you have an opportunity to make a donation and go to a game, okay? All you got to do, folks, is use that QR code right there that you see. And you want to buy a pair of tickets or 4 or 6 tickets, it's Youth Fair Day. All the proceeds go to help a lot of the programs that help the kids for Youth Fair. So you're making a donation. You basically can write it off and go to a baseball game. It's not bad. But you got to use that QR code right there to go to Lone Depot Park July 30th, which means when? Sunday. All right. So Sunday is Youth Fair Day at Lone Depot Park, and it'll be your last time to see Miguel Cabrera play here in Miami because he is retiring, and this is the last and only trip for the Tigers here in South Florida. So your chance to see a World Series hero, man, one of the maybe what top 3 greatest baseball moment, right? Miguel Cabrera home run against Clemens. The Renteria hit in 97 that brings in Craig Counsell in the 11th inning in Game 7, okay? And then what's the other one? The thing is that Beckett had many moments. I can't just nail one in that 2003. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, Josh Beckett put a performance of a lifetime there. You know what I mean? All he needed was a bat to beat Oral Hershiser. Some of you are too young for that, so you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But basically, Oral Hershiser did what Josh Beckett did, but he also did it with a bat, which was that was the amazing thing that year watching the Dodgers and watching Oral Hershiser not just pitch his ass off all over the place, just like Beckett did in many situations, relief and starting, but he also got hot with the bat, which was stupid. He actually got a couple of hits. I forgot what exactly were his hitting stats for that World Series, but the goofiness of all that was that Hershiser got a couple of hits, I want to say, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's also hitting too, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's probably those are the moments. So if you want a chance to, maybe a Dontrelle Willis moment that year, did he win the Randy Johnson game? See, that's kind of a moment right there. You know what I'm saying? So, but definitely Miguel Cabrera is one of the top 3 baseball moments of all time for Marlins fans. And Miguel Cabrera, is a guy that should have retired in this uniform and should be going into the Hall of Fame in this uniform, those kind of things. So if you want to go on Sunday and go check out the boys, there you go. 140, man. Youth Fair Day at Lone Depot Park. Check it out. All right. I need your reassurance. I've been waiting all day for you to come on. Well, Lucky Logman, I am working on the information. I am hoping that I can get the information for you all. If I don't get it, obviously, one of the national guys will end up getting it or something, but hopefully we'll find out. But I personally don't like that I'm not getting any response from anybody. That makes me nervous. Okay? And I'm not big on overreacting until things actually happen, I was going back and forth on the text with Lisa. I think Lisa's probably somewhere on the chat board right now. But I was going back and forth with Lisa, and she's freaking out. I'm saying, we can't freak out yet. You gotta let's wait till we actually hear that it's bad or it's good or it's not that bad. Then we can react to all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the good thing about all of that. Let's just hold off and let's hope for the best. Obviously, you know what I mean. It's what are you gonna do? So we will keep you updated on it, and I am looking on my phone constantly to see if I got messages out to several people, and I'm trying to see if I can get anything, anything in return here. And so far, I have not gotten anything. So we'll see. Now, let's. I don't like hypotheticals. But this is a moment where I can go into a hypothetical because we have an injured corner. Okay, so Jalen Ramsey has gotten injured. Now, one of the things that we got to understand, right? And this is the hilarious part. What happened when they drafted Cam Smith, Sean? Some people are like, well, why are you drafting Cam Smith? You just signed Jalen Ramsey. You just traded for Jalen Ramsey. Why are you going to – well, there you go. And you got to plan ahead. And you got to have foresight. And by the way, haven't I told you that X is probably going to be released after this season? Didn't I tell you that a year ago? Didn't I tell you a year ago that Byron Jones would be released this offseason, and then next offseason it'll be X, right? So you got to plan ahead. And part of planning ahead, ladies and gentlemen, is called Kader Kohou and Cam Smith. Remember, the plan before that was Noah Igbenogany. Noah's the guy that's supposed to take over for X or Jones, but Noah never crossed over that threshold. Now, Kohou had an interception today on Tua. He's going to be there. He's going to be in the mix, and you drafted Cam Smith. So the Dolphins at least are prepared, okay? And I get it. Some of you will be freaking out of, oh, well, Noah didn't work out. Yeah, I know Noah didn't work out, but Brandon Jones worked out. X worked out. Kohou's worked out. Javon Hollins worked out. Nick Needham's worked out. I love the negative people because they'll tell you about one guy that we know didn't work out, but then they don't point at all the other secondary guys that have worked out. So, the math is pretty good. The chances are pretty good that you're going to find another player, hopefully, in Cam Smith. Okay? Youngin, he's got to learn. We know that. But Kohou's now got the healthy hand. He's got a year of experience. He played well for, what position he was put in. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that the Dolphins are at least prepared for this. And this is very good GMing by Chris Grier. Because a lot of you are like, well, why are we getting the corner? They traded for Jalen. Let's go get a running back. Let's go. There were a couple of their offensive linemen and all that. And I know the offensive linemen that they wanted, and it didn't fall to them in the second round. I know the tight end they wanted, and it didn't fall to them in the second round. Okay? So there was a tight end they wanted badly. Badly. They were roaring for that tight end. They were roaring for that tight end. Okay? What's up, baby? So we're gonna fight. We're gonna, they got the player they wanted, and guess what? Look how everything has worked out. If Jalen is injured, you're gonna need Cam Smith. So Cam Smith now is going to be on a faster trajectory of developing now. Okay, now you need to put him more into the heat to get him ready because he's got to back up Kohu and X if Kohu does take over for Jalen, if Jalen is sidelined. It might be only a sprain, it might be only a strain, it might be only a scope. It may not be a complete tear and a whole year. So let's pump the brakes. But at least I wanted to shed a little light and say, hey, look, the Dolphins aren't in the worst shape ever here, okay? They got a great defensive coordinator now that is going to get that front seven to produce a lot better, okay? They've got depth at corner. They've got depth in that secondary. They've got one of the best safeties in the NFL in Javon Holland. X is healthy, so let's not panic. Let's not get crazy right now. The Dolphins did pretty damn good last year overcoming some stuff. So let's hope that it's not serious. And hopefully the Jalen Ramsey deal is something that they can overcome. That's but at least they did something in the offseason that put them in that position. So we'll see. We shall see. All right. I got some stuff that I just text someone else now, some stuff. So we'll see what we got going on, and we'll try to find out for you if there's anything going on with Jalen Ramsey. So we'll see. Big O, I didn't know Kader Kohu had a broken hand until yeah, he was dealing with he's a tough son of a bitch. And not only that, Devin, he's like one of the best tackling corners we've ever had, even with a broken hand. Kohu's a badass, bro. Kohu's a badass. That they found something there, man. That's why, obviously, you want Jalen Ramsey in there, okay? But I'm not sitting here panicking like, oh my God, the world, it's over and this and that. I think Kohu's going to be a better player this year, and I'm counting on Cam Smith to develop and help out too on the same time, and maybe they have another veteran there, that can help out a little bit. You got X, you got Javon Holland. I'm not going to completely go in panic mode here because of all of this. It sucks. I don't even want to even talk about this injury, to be quite honest. It sucks to even hear that. You know what I'm saying? Even talk about it. But at least there was a plan in place, and there was foresight, and they're at least somewhat prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give them a lot of love there. Cam Smith has about 6 weeks to figure it out, says Finn's Rule. And he also says, let's pray for Ramsey. Amen to that. I already did that. Dr. Quiet says the Cam Smith pick was so clutch. It is. It turns out to be incredibly clutch right now. Yeah. Yep. Big O, starting a franchise, who you giving the max to? Jessica Alba, Cindy Crawford, Salma Hayek, Cameron Diaz, Margot Robbie, Halle Berry, all in their prime. Well, I'm going, once you put that one name in the mix, no one else stands a chance. You know what I'm saying? You put Halle Berry there, it's over. I got to go Halle Berry. And then Salma Hayek next. That would be my number 2. But once you put Halle Berry there, you can't put a Halle Berry on any list of women because, to me, nobody compares to that woman. You know what I'm saying? So I put Halle Berry on top of everybody there. And then Salma Hayek. Wow. Woo, doggy. Salma Hayek is that's special. That's special quality. It's football. Everyone gets injured. That's why quality depth is important. That's right, Brooklyn Rob. You know it. You know it. Jason Myers says Gardner Johnson was carted off and ended up being precautionary with no major injuries. So let's hope it's good. Let's hope he's good. Yeah, exactly. That's why I tried to walk Lisa off the ledge, early on and say, relax. We haven't heard anything yet. Let's wait. I got friends of mine that were texting me, oh, dude, this sucks. Oh, the season's over. I'm like, the season's over, bro. He might just be out for a week or something. He might be out for a month or something, which they don't even need him this month. Relax, I told him. You can't overreact like this, and the season's not over. These people coached their asses off and got to the playoffs with a crap ton of injuries and no quarterback last year. Give me a break. I mean, I'm just not a quitter. I'm not that guy that just gives up right away and all that. You got to fight, man, and they'll be all right. They'll be all right. I'm not going to go into this panic mode that some of you have entered in. Oh my God, it's over. All right, let's talk a little Tyreek Hill because I've stirred it up a little bit. Unfortunately, for some of you out there, some of you still think, again, this is a guess by me. This is not me hoping it happens. Obviously not. And so some of you get butthurt, and listen, I get it. A lot of you are fans, so you can't be really objective about this. And so, and I've heard people talk about it and say, oh, it was no big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. See, the problem is, and why I think there could be a game suspension, and that's my guess. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he doesn't get a game suspension. But I think Tyreek gets a game suspension from all of this. I really do. One, he has the past. He has 2 incidents in the past. Okay. And now he's got this incident. And while the hit on the back of the neck wasn't that bad, it wasn't that bad because his buddy slowed him down. But here's the part that everybody keeps overlooking and nobody says anything. And I understand the Dolph fan not saying anything because you're fans. You're fanatical. You have no objectivity whatsoever. So you're just hoping he doesn't get suspended. So you try to justify it however you want. Oh, that's no big deal. Oh, that's not, oh, nothing's up. No, it is a big deal because what it shows is he has an anger issue. Whether you want to admit it or not, Tyreek Hill has an anger issue. He had the anger issue before he got here with a couple of incidents before that. How many times did you go hit somebody in a marina or something like that? We don't do that. We don't go hit strangers that are telling us not to do something. We don't go hitting them. That's an anger issue. And then he needs 6 people to restrain him from going back after the old man. And that's where a lot of you as Dolphins fans, you have no objectivity. And this is why most of you can never do this job. Because you'll be fans sitting there. But if you're the NFL office and you're looking at it from that lens, I can see them going, yeah, those people saved it from being even worse. Yeah, we need to send him a message that this shit cannot go on because you represent a team. You're representing a city, a franchise. You got to set the example. And you're not setting an example there. And he was very volatile there. If there's nobody to restrain him, what happens? What happens? What happens? How bad is that hit if his buddy is not holding him back? And then what happens on the second go around if the 6 people aren't involved in trying to stop him again? That's the problem with some of you out there. I get it, dude. You're fans. And you don't want it to happen. Neither do I. But I can't do this show the right way. Okay? I can be a fan if you want. There's lots of people that do YouTube shows and they're just fans. That's fine. That's not what I do here. Yeah, I'm a fan. I love the Dolphins. I want them to win, but I got to call it objectively. And that's a disturbing video. So as a fan, you don't look at it as anything. As a guy, you're like, oh, dude, what's a little slap on the back of the neck? Problem is, who's doing the slapping? Who are they representing? And that's the problem. And then what history do you have? So if the NFL couldn't punish him the last time he had a domestic incident because it was before he got drafted, on a technicality they couldn't go after him. Now what do? They say, well, wait a minute, this guy's had some anger issues in the past. Now he did it again. If we don't do anything, and forget the legal stuff. People can buy their way out of all of that. You and I can't because we're working stiffs. But people like Tyreek are going to be able to buy their way out of a lot of problems. So the legal part doesn't matter because he bought his way out of it. But now the NFL part, this is why I'm afraid that they'll give him one game. Because of the anger he showed and the restraint needed from it not becoming worse. And that's where I think the NFL may lay a game on Tyreek Hill. Okay? That's all. I'm not telling you that it's guaranteed going to happen or I'm reporting it or anything, but just a guess. I would not be surprised. I would not be shocked at all if they give him a game just to kind of send a message. Like, yo, this cannot happen. You cannot have this kind of behavior. And it could have gotten a lot worse if it wasn't for the people around you. So, to me, that's how I interpret this Tyreek Hill situation. We'll see how the NFL looks at it. That'll be the key. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what you think. It only matters what the inconsistent Roger Goodell thinks. Let's see. Facts, Big O. The new PCP rule and the word integrity looks like the aggressor might be an issue. If it wasn't for the group of people holding Hill back, he would have done worse than just a slap. Yeah, but you know what's, Ray? You know what's funny? I listened to local radio today. None of them said that. I read the papers. None of them said that. It's weird. Anyway. For all we know, he could have pushed the guy down in the marina, and it wasn't those people holding Hill back. And the guy could have hit his head. He could have, he could have hurt himself. So, yeah, especially since the slap was in front of a little girl. Watson was cleared, though he still got 6 games. You're right, Big O. Yeah. I mean, listen, I hope I'm wrong, but I could see the NFL sending a one-game message because it's scary. It's scary. And if there wasn't 7 left tackles there, it would have been really scary. Big O, T. Hill needs to keep his hands to himself. You think suspension versus fine? I think both. I think the NFL will suspend him for a game and give him a fine. He'll get a fine for sure from the NFL, but I think he'll get a one-gamer just kind of like, here, you need to calm down. Here's a game and here's a message. If this ever happens again, it's going to be a much longer suspension. That's why I think there will be a game. It's the only reason. Miami isn't overpaying for Cook. That's why it's stupid. Everyone hyping him up. Come here. The fans get mad if we don't. Oh, well, you know what? We got time, right? Before Marceau hits us at 3:30. Okay, let's talk Dalvin Cook. So Dalvin Cook now is going to visit the Jets over the weekend and then the Patriots. Okay? Some guy already went after me on Twitter. I thought you said he was signing with the Dolphins. And I'm like, has he signed with anybody yet? You know what I mean? In the end, look, we warned you way ahead of time. They weren't going to pay him. We warned you a long time ago. Now, if the Jets want to up the ante a little bit because they got extra money from the Rodgers deal, then they do it. You know what I'm saying? But Miami is not going to overpay. Did you see the guys already starting to write about A-Chain today? The head coach drafted A-Chain. And Mostert and Wilson, there's nothing wrong with them. As I keep telling you, it's more about the left guard and right tackle. I know Connor can play, I know Hunt can play, and I know Armstead can play. If you fix the left guard and the right tackle, Sean Stanley will get 800 yards behind the line. Okay, 750. Okay. All right, so 750 for Sean on 6 yards of carry. Now, see, that's my point, that if the left guard and the right tackle get fixed, all the running backs are going to have success. Salvon Ahmed, who averaged over 4.5 yards a carry last year, will also have success. That's why there's no hurry, and that's why there's no desperation sitting here. The desperation is in you guys, some of you out there, because of your greed, because you're Gordon Gekko. Greed is good. You want everything. Anybody and everybody that becomes available, you want to sign them. And you have enough already. The real issue is the left guard and the right tackle. That's the real issue. If he wants to sign with his hometown team on a team-friendly deal, then he is more than welcome. But if he is looking for a bunch of carries, and if he's looking for money, he's not getting it here. And I've told you that from day one. So we'll see. If they don't up the ante, he'll sign here. If there's not much of a difference, he's not going back to Minnesota. That I'll never believe. If he does that, that is so weak on his part. It's not even funny. He'll sign with one of the AFC East teams. I believe in the end he signs with the Dolphins unless the Jets get crazy. But he's going to visit the Jets and the Patriots. To me, it sounds desperation that he's trying to, get the Dolphins motivated, and that's just not going to happen. So if he's looking for that, he'll continue to be disappointed. But the whole Dalvin Cook situation is really all about money for him. And that's all he's looking for. If he really wants to play here, he'll end up signing here.
Did you see Breece Hall tweeted out?
No.
Just LOL.
Breece Hall?
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. Oh,
the
okay.
running back for the Jets just tweeted out LOL.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's all man, however you want to look at it, but it's just funny that.
Right. And Breece Hall's the guy there, bro. He's the guy. You know what I'm saying? That's their draft pick. And if he's healthy, Dalvin Cook will have the best seat in the house watching Breece Hall run a lot. So I just, all this stuff to me is a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. And Dalvin Cook, it's up to him now, whatever he wants to do. But he and his agent just have played this so poorly. And that's why they're in this position. Big O, that wasn't Tyreek who slapped that man. It was a UFO alien who did it. It's possible. It's possible. Local radio and fans were always saying that he was signing with the Jets when he was making a visit. What do you got there, Sean? You got some? What was that? Okay, Marcel's Cuban? Okay. All right. Marcel says he's Cuban. In other words, he says he's a little late. So, it's what we do. We're professionals at it. If the Finstock Cook was the key to their success, they would have offered him more. Cook will be nice to have, not a must-have. Well, you have at least some common sense there, Ragin. But some folks think that without Cook, you can't win a title or something. Stupid. Breece Hall, when healthy, is exactly. Big O, at this point, I'm tired of the Dalvin Cook drama. Yeah. But Devin, it's the poor guy, man. He, I feel bad for all of them. I especially feel bad for Dalvin and his situation because he and his agent really misplayed this badly. And they didn't really understand what was going on with running backs. So, what are you going to do? Cubans invented the grand entrance. That's us. That's us. We're late as hell, bro. If we need a running back at some point, we can still add Kareem Hunt or Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I agree with that. Ramsey going down makes me sick. Not yet, DJ. Don't get sick to your stomach yet, bro. Relax. Maybe he's out for a couple days, a week or 3. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just a little tweak, a little pull, small tear or something. Relax, dude. Let's not overreact yet. Let's not make it sound like he's gone for the year. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking you guys down that, hyperbolic, trail that we, oh my God, the season's over, this, that. No, we're not doing that. So hang in there, man. Stay positive. How worried are you about our linebacker depth? You know what I laugh about, Sean? Did they have even starting linebackers on this team? Right. That's my point. Like, it's like, wait a minute. They didn't have great linebackers to start with. Now you're worried about depth? Let's first get 3-4 linebackers we can count on. You know what I'm saying? And then we can start to add and talk about depth first. I saw Omar Kelly put out on a tweet, here's Long and here's what's the other guy's name? The other linebacker, the pass rusher, that he can. Damn it! Give me the linebackers' names. He's really good. He's a really nice guy, man. He's got a great personality. He's been here the last couple of years. He probably will get cut at the end of the year. No, not Chubb. Baker. Thank you. Jesus, Jerome. So Kelly's there like, well, he puts out, well, here's a Long and here's Baker. But do they have the depth? And I'm like, first of all, let's see if they can get starters. And then when we know that David Long and Baker and all these guys can get it done, then we can start to look at the backups. First, let's get the 5 offensive linemen. Then we can start to worry about depth. First, let's get the starting quarterback. Then maybe we can worry about the backup quarterback. Okay? You guys are a trip, dude. You're like you want a complete team. Meanwhile, this is the best roster you've had since the early 90s. Once again, this is the best roster you've had since the early 90s. All right, is Marcel the Cuban ready? Right? Marcel, Cuban, Louis. Is he there? The Cuban Louis is there? All right, let's go. Cuban Louis Jack is ready to go right now.
All rise, football fans. As the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. And wait a minute, but you moved to Broward now?
Not yet.
Okay, so that's why you're still late. You're still
in like a month and a half, give or take.
Okay, so that's right. Maybe you'll be more on time when you get to Broward in the.
Hey, I've been here for 3 minutes listening to you talking about linebackers.
Yep. I was laughing because Kelly goes, "Look at David Long and Jerome Baker, but do they have depth?" And I'm like, first of all, let's see if they can get starting linebackers on this team.
Bro, that is such a interesting starting point because I've been basically staying off Twitter for the most part for like the past 5 months, man. Like I've not been tweeting. My follower count was literally exactly the same as it was when I entered the offseason. Like, I haven't been tweeting at all. And yesterday I saw Warren Sharp put out a list, right, of the best front sevens in the NFL. And he had the Dolphins at number 1 and the 49ers at number 2. And I called Cap. I was like, look, man, I think the Dolphins front seven can be good. I think they're quite good. But there's nobody in this league I'm taking over
the Niners.
The Niners. Like, I'm not taking anyone over a team that's got Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Hargrave, and Nick Bosa in the front seven. It's not, bro. So, like, but like people, at least one or a group of people were like actually upset about it. Like,
they have one linebacker that's better than all the linebackers we have.
They have 2 linebackers. Dre Greenlaw would be the best linebacker on this team, bro. It's not even close.
I know.
They arguably have 4 players that would be better than anybody in this front seven.
No. The Niners. I knew.
Bosa's not a debate. Warner's not a debate. Greenlaw's not a debate. And Hargrave or Javon Hargrave, maybe.
You're not going to get any argument here, bro. I said it before you said it because I knew where you were going. I mean, there's no way anybody's better than the Niners. Nobody.
Dude, I was astounded, bro. Like, and if you guys like, I'll just let you insight on how I view Twitter, how I use this app. Like, if you see me like continuously going at people, not going at people, but like engaging with people, it's because like my mind is blown at the response. Like, I didn't think that was going to be a hot button issue. I didn't think that was debatable at all. That's like Bills fans getting mad if you say Mahomes is better than Josh Allen. It doesn't mean Josh Allen's bad. It means Mahomes is on a tier by himself. Like, the Niners front seven is a tier by itself. We're not talking about whole defense here. Whole defense, I think we can have a real conversation because I think the Dolphins have the best secondary in the NFL. So like it closes that gap a lot more, and that I think it's a push then when you're talking about all 11, but front seven, bro, like this is not a
no.
It truly, like, I had to stop because it was like the person I was like arguing with, it was like I felt like I'm trying to convince somebody that 2 + 2 = 4, and he's trying to tell me it's 5. And it's like, I don't know how else to explain this, bro.
Plus, it's actually irresponsible because Miami hasn't proven it yet, where San Fran already proved it, and so it's just and it's not like they lost half their defense to free agency or something like that. No, their defense is back intact, and it's awesome.
They added to it. They lost the linebacker. They lost Al-Shaair, I think went to the Niners, but like their defensive end opposite Bosa still had 5 sacks last year.
Oh, I know.
So like it again, I don't know, man. But I'm also like I don't like the Niners, dude. I grew up a Raiders fan. I hate the Niners. I hate the Niners almost as much as I hate the Patriots, just from my core growing up. So it's hard for me to admit good things about the Niners, but like, bro, it is what it is.
All right, let's get to the hot and heavy story. Jalen Ramsey, I don't know about you, but I'm putting out some feelers. I'm not getting any response from the building anywhere. So are you hearing anything? I'm not ready to say it's terrible because you never know. It could be a slight tear, it could be a pull, it could be a strain, it could be a hyperextension, it could be lots of things that could only take a couple days, a couple weeks, and he could be back. So I'm not going to overreact on this, but I'll tell you this. I'm not hearing from anybody in the building, and that doesn't make me feel good. So that's all I can tell you.
Like, it is, this was funny as well, and I see the comment that like, all right, Marcel, we only want to know about Jalen Ramsey. Shut up about the Niners. This was interesting because there was some rumor going around on social media that it was a cramp. I shut it down on Twitter. I will shut it down again right here. This was not a cramp.
No.
Now, like the width of possibilities does not begin and end at cramp and torn ACL. Like, just because it's not a cramp doesn't mean it's a torn ACL per se. But this was not a cramp. I saw him collide with Tyreek Hill.
You know how they work cramps. They get your ass on the ground. They rub that shit out right away and all that. And you get the water and you're fine. That was no cramp, dude.
Yeah, it does make me – it makes me laugh sometimes when, like, people tell me that like I either don't know what I'm talking about or that I'm wrong when like I saw it. Like I was looking right at it. I was trailing Ramsey and Tyreek the entire way because it's a good on good rep in team drill. So they collided mid route. Can't tell if they knocked knees or just tangled up, but there was some incidental contact mid route. Looked like as Tyreek was trying to cut in. They both went down. Tyreek popped up. Jalen stayed on the ground for a little bit, sat upright, kind of was rubbing his knee, got up, tried to shake it off. And, it wasn't like he was writhing in pain or like keeled over and back and forth. Like he was trying to walk it off. And it seemed like something that he's like, nah, like I can't push through this. So he takes himself out of the play and, off to the sideline where medical trainers, athletic trainers, they're looking at his knee. They're looking at his knee. And like, I am not myself a trainer. I am not a kinesiologist or sports. I'm not a doctor here. So I'm going to describe the drill or the what they were doing, and you guys can take it from there. He had his knee stretched out, his leg stretched out, and it looked like almost like they were massaging around his kneecap, like pressing around his kneecap for maybe weeks.
They're trying to feel if the ligament's intact still.
So like
they can feel your ACL and they know right away if it's torn or not. And then once they move the leg and they see it, they know exactly if it's torn or not.
What I did not see was the typical stability test where they kind of hold your leg in one hand and they're trying to bend it one way or another while it's straight. I did not see them do that. That is typically what you see when there's ligament damage feared. From my understanding, what I saw was, again, it almost looked like they were massaging around his left kneecap. After a while, he stood up, the team broke team drills, and then as they got into a massive huddle, Cart came and took him into the locker room after practice. Again, we have to make it clear just in case it wasn't. It's not like they stopped practice and he needed to be carted away. It's not like an ambulance came onto the field. He was able to take himself off the field. He chilled for a little bit, 10 minutes or so, until the end of practice, and then a cart came to take him to the locker room. You've seen that walk. Like, it's not the longest walk in the NFL, but when your superstar cornerback that you're relying on this year has any sort of knee issue, it makes total and complete sense to grab a cart and make that trip easier on him. There's no reason to make him walk all that far. So the cart was kind of a technicality.
Unless, and I've seen it many times, the player says, no, I want to walk this off. I'm fine. I want to walk this off. And so sometimes they're kind of hard-headed and they don't get on the cart because they don't want to. And sometimes, even if they are injured, they refuse to be taken off the field that way. Or off. Alonzo Mourning hopped off the damn court. Would not be assisted off the court.
Yeah, but like it's day 2.
It's crazy, bro.
It's day 2 of training camp. Like, there's no reason to be a hero. He's been around this league long enough to know, like, you don't push it when you don't have to. It's a long, long season ahead. If we're talking about week 3, week 4, then who knows?
Brother, we had a quarterback here that thought his knee ligament could actually get fixed by osmosis. And he went back to practice and he blew it out right away because he refused to get surgery in the offseason. I don't know if you know that story about Tannehill. When he blew out his knee, he didn't have surgery. He let it repair on its own. And then it tore right away. And it was like, yeah, moron, that's not what you do with knee ligaments. You repair them, So athletes can do some of the weirdest things in the world. And, we saw Tannehill do something like that. So they're very prideful cats, dude.
Yeah, but I think Ramsey takes pretty good care of his body. I mean, he's 8 years in, give or take, maybe 7, 8, 9 years in, somewhere around that. And we're yet to see him sustain any sort of major injury, at least to the best of my knowledge, best of my memory. So it's a guy who knows how to take care of himself. I don't think he tries to thug out a walk. Plus, who among us would deny a cart, man? I would love a media cart. And we walk half a block, if that.
Yeah, but we're media members. We're slackers. It's a whole different ballgame with us.
Man. There's never been a point in my life where I would rather walk than get a ride.
I'm telling you, I'm with you there. I'd rather get the damn ride, man. So I'm with you there. That's for damn sure. All right. I was telling fans this. The good thing is, and you got it too, okay? Because I know you got it, and so did I, and so did everybody else. So when the draft rolled around and they took Cam Smith in the second round, well, why didn't you take a tight end? Why didn't you take a running back? Why didn't you take a tackle? Why didn't you take something else? Well, guess what? Now Kader Kohu's healthy with the hand, playing ball, and you've got now Cam Smith. And so, God forbid this is actually something serious, the Cam Smith pick becomes incredibly clutch right now because
said that right away. Like the people anybody that was upset at not taking what was his name, Darnell Washington from Georgia,
right,
or I forget who else was on the board.
Whatever, running back, a tight end, whatever.
It didn't matter. Like I was kind of surprised that people forgot about Miami's cornerback situation last year. It was atrocious. It was dire. They were an Xavier Howard injury, like unplayable injury away from having a actual emergency at cornerback, from literally pulling people off the street to start at cornerback. We're talking 2019 vibes once again, man. Like it was that freaking bad. X was playing on half a groin. Groin was hanging on by a thread because he had to. Who else was? I mean, legitimately, if he went down last year, and Byron Jones is already hurt, Troy Williams is already hurt, Nick Needham is already hurt. Well, who the hell was playing outside corner? It's Kader and who? Justin Bethel, Keon Crossen. Keon Crossen was hurt last year too. It was bad. They needed that depth. Smith, he has some work to do. He has some ways to go. He is not ready to start. He's not. Yeah, he's not rip out the plastic, plug and play, ready to go yet. Like he's not. It ain't ready yet. If season started tomorrow and Jalen couldn't play, it would be Xavier and Kohu. Outside.
Yeah, but with Kohu, you're fine out there, bro. I'm good with Kohu. Yeah. I got no problem with Kohu. I like Kohu. I'm a big Kohu fan. I think he's going to be better this year, to be quite honest. This kid's maturity is sick, and his physicality is crazy. So I'm a big Kohu believer, bro.
Yeah, I think
he's going to be fine. Really, I do. I like him. I think he's going to be, if you need him. And you got Javon Holland back there also. So you got a wicked safety, dude. And if with X healthy, again, I'm not saying that he's out or anything, and I hope he's not. I hope Jalen is healthy. It'll be a lot more fun to watch Jalen and X and Holland in a secondary. Don't get me wrong. But at least the Dolphins are somewhat prepared for this terrible thing if it is true.
Yeah, they have better depth. They have better depth. Nick Needham's working his way to health as well. He was at practice today, didn't participate, but he's out there. So they've got the players. But yeah, no, we're not. I really, unless one of the heavy hitters, unless we see a Rappaport or a Schefter come out tonight, I really wouldn't hold your breath until we talk to Mike McDaniel in the morning. So anybody who thinks that I was going to hop on here with breaking news about Jalen Ramsey.
Steven Gonzalez is already ripping you because you didn't break the story now, okay? So Steven's ripping you already. I guess
I should I'm going to hand in my ESPN flag, my flag mic. Bro, like, I love you, but if I had that news, there's not a chance in hell I'm breaking it on this show and not on SportsCenter.
No shit. No shit.
No chance.
No shit. Really?
Right? Like, come on, guys. Come on, y'all. I said we would talk about it. This is me talking about it. But like, there's nobody on this beat has that info right now, and is going to be withholding it. Like nobody's got that. They're gonna keep that under wraps. We're gonna hear about it.
Well, not yet, at least.
Probably first thing in the morning would be my guess. Mike talks at 10.
Some of us might be able to get it before that. I don't know. I don't know.
We all see.
I wouldn't count myself out on that one. So I'm digging.
Yeah, bro.
All right. So who stood out today?
I'm sorry.
Did my boy Cameron Good look good? Did Cameron look good? Because he showed me a little something in the mini camp, like light was going on, and he knew exactly what the hell he was doing. So I don't know. Did you see anything from my boy Cameron?
Defensively, I'm not sure anybody necessarily stood out to the point that it requires recognition right now. am still.
Didn't Kohu have an interception?
I mean, Kohu picked Tua off first pass of the day, Tua's first pass of the day in 7-on-7 drills. What I loved about what Tua did immediately after, they ran essentially the same route right back at Kohu, different receiver, threaded the needle for a completion to Cedric Wilson. You like to see that kind of short memory from a quarterback because practice, what people don't want to talk about with practice interceptions, man, is that like this is the time to figure out what you can and can't get away with. You know what I mean? Like this is the time. If you're going to push the limit, if you're going to take a risk, you do that at practice. You don't risk that week one against the Chargers, when it can actually hurt you. So like you'd like to see him go right back at it and get it right the second time around. He probably should have.
This man survived flow. Forget about it, bro. This guy has the best memory to erase in the world. He survived flow, bro. I mean, give me a break. He survived a guy that hated him for a couple of years. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. That's the ultimate test for any quarterback. You get drafted and the guy that's coaching you hates you and doesn't want you around. That's a test right there.
Now, I would say that he probably should have thrown another one-on-one coverage to Jalen Waddle with Jalen Ramsey on him downfield. Ramsey just high pointed that, man. Like it was stride for stride. Maybe any other cornerback in the NFL, or a lesser cornerback that pass might have gotten through, but Ramsey's he's too good to do that against. So these battles are interesting. Bad day for receivers, though. Not a good day for receivers. Tyreek's been a little. When I say slow, I don't mean speed wise. I think he's slow to start in camp. His hands, like they're not. I've personally seen about 3 drops, maybe even 4. If I missed one, but definitely at least 3 drops. He had 2 today that he really should have caught. There was kind of an underthrown ball from Skylar Thompson on a go route against, I want to say his name is Ethan Bonner, number 38.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Undrafted rookie out of Stanford. It was underthrown. I'm not going to argue with that. It was underthrown, but the ball bounced off Tyreek's chest plate. And, there's some debate in the media, right? Who, if Bonner got a hand on it or not, he didn't get no hand on it. It hit off his plate, off his chest plate. It's just that's something that we've seen Tyreek kind of do this past couple days is, catch balls like that instead of like that, catching with his chest instead of with his hands. I'm sure it's something that he will get corrected. I'm sure it's something that he's a little frustrated and disappointed in himself about. But one thing we heard Mike McDaniel say about Tyreek last year is that Tyreek's the first guy to correct something when it's called out, during film sessions. So looking forward to seeing how he bounces back tomorrow. But still kind of a shaky day for receivers. But Skylar Thompson continues to, despite that underthrow, continues to look better than Mike White because a throw or two later, he hit Braxton Berrios for like a 70-yard touchdown. Obviously not 70 air yards, but it was a catch and run 70-yard touchdown, probably traveled about 40 yards or so.
Barry says he ran 30 of the yards.
Yeah, like I said, probably ran about 30 yards or so.
Yeah.
Bit of a busted coverage, but hit him in stride. It was a good throw. He looks more decisive. He looks more comfortable. He moves around in the pocket. Mike White has looked like kind of a statue. To be honest, it's been very stationary. It's been very stationary over the past 2 days, where it's just kind of like looking, and then the throws. The ball doesn't really have the zip that you want. He's not taking very many risks. I've seen him throw behind receivers. Season starts tomorrow, Skylar Thompson is QB2, and it's been that way since the spring. Like Skylar can still play.
Yeah, I've never been impressed with Mike White. I don't really understand the love affair that I've seen. I think it's just the local bullshit that always happens here with people. Anyway, follow me on this. Do you think Tyreek gets any suspensions from the NFL?
I don't really think so. Look, I don't want to it's hard to comment on obviously we've seen the video first obtained by Andy Slater as video.
I've seen props to Slater. He got it before TMZ. That's pretty damn good, bro.
He got it. And he said, y'all gonna know exactly who got this, bro. So good for him, man. That's a good get.
He's in with the cops. So they were investigating it. So he probably got the copy from the cops is what it is. So he's got that in with the cops. So he always gets all the people that are arrested and all that kind of stuff. So I would imagine the cops gave it to him. But follow me on this. I fear he's going to get a game. I do. He had 2 incidents before that the NFL couldn't do anything on. If you look at the incident, of course, it's just a slap in the back of the neck. It's not the biggest thing in the world. But if you really look at the entire video, one, his friend had to stop him. It might have been worse than that slap. And then the second go around, there are like 6 people that got to play offensive line and stop him from going after him. The image of anger that was displayed on the video in both instances, I think that's where the NFL says, you got an anger issue, kid. You need a game and you need some counseling because you had some issues before you got in the league. We couldn't get you. Now we need to send a message to you. Here's a game. And I fear because, see, everybody keeps talking about the slap. Go look at the actions of the human being. And I think that the anger that he showed is what the NFL is going to react to more than the slap on the back of the neck. It could have been a lot worse if his buddy wasn't there, and it certainly would have been worse on the second go-around if there weren't 6 different people trying to stop him from going after the guy. So to me, that's where he gets a game, and that's where I fear the NFL could have some retaliation.
I mean, like, maybe like, if they are going to suspend him, like, it's really only worth a game. Just like
right, that's what I've been saying from the get-go. One game. Yeah.
Don't do that. But like, said he's cooperating. He's taking he took responsibility for it yesterday. I don't know if he knew that the video was going to get out or not, but like, I don't think that the video, it wasn't like as violent of an outburst as we initially were led to believe before the report came out that it was a slap in the back of the neck.
That's the problem with that. You keep looking only at the slap.
But like, you can't put your hands on people, and I understand he had to be held back, but like,
twice.
He was held back. Twice. He was held back. Like, he snuck one in there, but he was held back. Like, it happened. Like, people get mad. I'm not saying it was okay for him to put his hands on the guy.
No,
but like,
of course it's not okay.
I didn't really care about anything else in that video. Like, you got mad and you got held back is what it is. Like, we always like to play what if there wasn't anybody there? What if he didn't get held back? What if
those are the facts.
He didn't. But those like, that's what if, like, but
the anger displayed there is scary because it means he can't control himself. And if he didn't have, the one individual in the one case, the slap would have been worse. And then the other 6 in the second go around, it would have been worse. So to me, the display of anger is what the NFL is going to look at and going to say, yeah, we got to send a message to this guy that this shit can't go on. And that's where I fear. I'm not wishing it. I'm not hoping. I hope the NFL just slaps him with a $5,000 fine and he's out of there and that's it. I'm sure there'll be a fine, but I kind of fear that they're going to hand him a game because of his priors. If he didn't have that prior stuff, then maybe he gets away with it. But because he has the prior stuff that had to do with anger, and now you see this situation, I just kind of fear.
All right, this for Steven Gonzalez. I don't know how breaking of news this is, but a source that I know I have within the NFL place, PA, did say that he believes the NFL is going to. They're not just going to take the county's word for it and say like, "All right, well, it's resolved."
Oh no, they don't do that.
Like it is an investigation. Like it is going to. They are going to be looking into it. I don't know if that's breaking news you're looking for, but like that's all we've got. That's all we got for now. Just as a precedent, though, like Alvin Kamara went to jail. Like he turned himself into jail for an assault last year. It just got resolved like a month ago.
Now you'll see a suspension.
That was not even last summer. It was,
and the suspension will come for him now. Yeah, and the suspension will come for him now. Now that everything's been settled, now's when the NFL will lay the suspension on him. Yeah, he's gonna.
So like I'm saying, like it might. I'm saying it might take a while. Like I've been saying all summer, like it's not something to like lose sleep over, or like pace around, stare at the wall, and think about. Like it'll come when it comes, and there's nothing that you can do about it when it does. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can do about the NFL deciding to suspend Tyreek Hill. Maybe he appeals, maybe he doesn't. Either way, like the process, there's a precedent of it. There's a historical precedent of this process taking a while. So I would just kind of buckle in. I don't know if you're seeing what is breaking news here.
Joe Burrow just went down.
Joe Burrow being
half. And he has it in a sleeve, and he hobbled his way down to the field.
He was actually carted off the field, the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Oof. It's a calf, holding his calf.
Yeah, that's
so like I don't know.
And
I don't know what happened there.
A strain, and of course it could be a tear. But it might not be something that serious, and he might be out for a short amount of time. Who knows? But yeah, man, it's football, and it sucks, unfortunately. All right, what do you got going on ESPN so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I will be on SportsCenter tonight to talk about the Jalen Ramsey injury. That is airing in the 6:00 hour. I do not anticipate having an update by then, but if I do, that is where you're going to see it. I'm also, if you got to drive tonight, if you're heading to the gym, you just want something to listen to, I will be on ESPN Radio from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight. Tune in. Tweet at me if your thoughts, your comments, your concerns, anything you want to talk about. I think we have a call-in line as well if you want to chat. I will be on ESPN Radio.
Call him and insult him. Yes, exactly.
Call me, insult me. Just talk for as long as you possibly can, so that I don't have to. And then I'm basically getting paid for you talking. So I would appreciate. I'm fucking with you guys. But yeah, if you do want to call in, you do want to engage, we always do appreciate that, man. It makes the job a lot more fun. Talking sports with other people, talking sports with the country. So that is my night tonight. That is also going to be my night tomorrow night, and also going to be my night, I think, Monday. So, a lot of radio coming up, a lot of opportunities.
Man. Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ, and we'll catch up with him again next week doing our thing with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report. Marcel, I shall see you this weekend, my man. I'll be out there in camp.
Yep.
Be good. There you go. The great Marcel Louis Jacques.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with Marcel Louis Jacques. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
I got to tell you, this sucks that I'm not getting any answers from Miami Gardens. I was about to say Davey. Oh man, that is crazy. Anyway, I hope it's nothing serious. I hope he's able to bounce back and and do his thing here and have a great year for the Dolphins. Yeah, Joe Burrow getting hurt now. Hopefully that's not serious either. I don't want to, it's no fun to see any of these kind of injuries. It takes away from the entire sport itself. We need to see stars play. And if the Dolphins ever run into the Bengals, I want them to beat them with Joe Burrow, not without. What do you got? Oh, we had a super chat. Let's see. We missed it. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Remember, you can make a Bitcoin donation. Little dip here right now. So you can make a little Bitcoin donation. Love it. I've been scooping up some Avalanche now because it's just a great price. I think it's going to end up becoming a monster. So Devin Jordan sends in a super chat. And he says, Big O, with Aaron Rodgers' new contract, reports say he took less to possibly free up cap space for Cook. I don't know if it really is for Cook because they have Breece Hall, dude. You know what I'm saying? They got Michael Carter. They got a couple of backs already as it is. It's not like Cook is going to become the number one guy and the only ball carrier. So maybe they did get the money to add depth, but I don't know how much more they're really going to be, offering, to be quite honest. So we'll see. But again, that's actually not a huge need for the Jets. Really. I mean, the only reason you bring him is because Breece is coming off of a knee injury. But if he wasn't coming off the knee injury, there's no need to. The guy's you don't want Breece Hall off the field. I mean, I hate the Jets, dude. I don't want to give the Jets, the Bills, or the Patriots any credit in anything. But Breece Hall is a dog, bro. That kid's a stud. Okay. And, that's their draft pick. So I just think this is them trying to draw up more interest and see if they can get Miami to give him a little bit more. I'm still convinced he comes to Miami when it's all said and done. Yes, sir.
What about this Rodgers guy? I mean, taking less money for the Jets. He's out there working with Zach Wilson. Did you see the video? He's out there. Jordan Love, didn't he say it's not my job to train, right? My job to tutor him?
Yeah, but Zach has a hot mom.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers is single. She's an anti-vaxxer like he is. So yeah, I think that they got something in common. I think she likes dark retreats also. So if she likes the darkness retreats, I gotta say, if I was a single guy, I would want to be friends with Zach Wilson also. I would really want to be friends with him. I mean, didn't you always want to be friends with your friend in the neighborhood that had a fine mom? Everybody wants to go to his house. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Come on. I'm seeing right through it. I know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. He's MILF hunting. Yeah. He hasn't had success with the younger ladies, right? Danica. I don't know what the name of that actress is. I forgot her name now as it is. What was that other? What's the smoke show from the West Wing that he went out with that she called him gay? God, what's her name? She loves dogs too. She's really cool. Got the light eyes, tan olive skin. What's her name, man? West Wing. Come on, help me out. Somebody help me out. Oh, yeah. Well, that was the actress, Shailene Woodley. That was the actress. But the other one, that's a complete smoke show. Hotter than Danica and hotter than and then Shailene Woodley. Damn it, what's her name? God, smoke show, dude. Olivia Munn. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. And Ritter. And Wheelie. And True Fin Fan. Olivia Munn. She called him gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but then that means he would be bi. But I don't know if you guys ever saw that interview. Go find the interview of Olivia Munn calling Aaron Rodgers gay. Do you know why he called her gay? And why she called him gay? One, he never liked to go to the buffet. You know what I'm saying now? He never liked to go to the buffet. Do I need to explain that? No, I hope not. And then two, sex was always doggy style. He never looked her in the face. Go check out the interview. It's funny. It's funny because in that interview, she goes, guys can't stay away from my box. It's hilarious, actually. It's a really good interview. It's funny as hell. Anyway, what are you going to say?
No, they put the video out already of the Burrow injury.
Oh, God.
So he escapes the pocket and he starts to roll out, and then something happened there, and then he couldn't put any pressure on the leg. He hopped about 3 hops, and then he laid down or sat down.
Hopefully it's just a pull or a strain, dude. You certainly don't want any kind of major injuries, bro. So, Emilio says, off topic, your stare when you're listening to guests sometimes reminds me of the look I gave my daughter first boyfriend, that I have a Glock, a shovel, and an alibi. Looks like a real Cuban girl, Dad. Well, sometimes our guys will say some things that, sometimes I tell you guys things with my face and the expressions. Sometimes I'll tell you things like I gave you a hint in the first hour about something the Dolphins wanted. You know what I mean? And if you picked up on the hint, then if you're smart enough, you might pick up on what I was talking about. Didn't mention anything, but it's going to There's always things, there's a subliminal side to the show at times. Okay? There'll be messages sent in other ways. And then it's up to you to kind of decipher it and figure it out. Sometimes you don't even pick up on it, and then you missed on the nugget that was dropped. And a nugget was dropped in the first hour, a major nugget that no one has ever told you. No one. So, go McDonald's nugget hunting in hour one. And if you do figure out the nugget, I want you to DM me on Twitter or on Threads or Instagram or whatever. Email BigORadioShow@yahoo.com. And if you do get the nugget, the monster nugget that was dropped in the first hour, monster nugget. Can't tell you exactly what, because then I'll give it away, but you got to figure it out. Let's see. Rodgers wouldn't go to Olivia's buffet. Orlando, at this point, should the Marlins give up assets for a move or just wait until the offseason? Green Lion, at this point, now that Messi's here, they should just give up. Wave the white flag. It's over. Nobody's going to give a shit about the Marlins ever again in summer. They don't spend. They don't really try to make it, So unless they want to challenge for a playoff spot, the soccer team, and eventually it was going to happen. The Moss brothers were going to strike. And here it is. It's over. Olivia Munn is a 10 in my... Oh, yeah, she's a smoke show. Smoke show. Definitely. Definitely hot. Definitely hot. And I'm a big fan of hers because I loved her role in The West Wing. But she's cool, and she's a huge dog person. So I like that. Anybody that's a dog person, that person wins me over right away. You got to be like, after I got to get to know you after that. If you're a complete jerk, then okay, then we move on. But if you're a dog lover, I tend to think that dog-loving people are usually pretty good people. But listen, the Marlins need to do a lot, bro. And it's not good enough to just get by. You got to do more. And here they are. They're tripping up here in this month. They're out of the wild card race. Now they got to try to get back in there. They're not completely out of it. It's within reach, but the schedule got tougher, and you're not as good as that first half. And Lenny Pena just came in with Olivia Munn. I guess he's a little behind. Shannon says, not every buffet is good eating. I'm Olivia Munn. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not going with that one, bro. Not going there.
Just to change the topic, Bronny got released.
Bronny got released from the hospital? Okay, good. Good. Will he continue to play ball is the question. Yeah. All the scans, everything's normal? Okay. All right. Yeah, Olivia Munn was in the West Wing. You didn't watch the show?
He was in the East Wing.
Oh my God! Does Rosendo think she like the real West Wing?
That's where all the drugs are found,
Olivia Munn in the West Wing? I'm confused. Yeah. She left her cocaine in the White House. Exactly. She was out there hanging out. And she just left her baggie there, in the West Wing. I need a GQ article. She confided she's a consummate pro at polishing the chrome. That issue is still stuck to my ceiling. Yeah, the show's completely gone off the rails. What's it called?
I wanted to ask you a question, though.
All right, you guys are getting like crazy.
Because with Bronny's son going down here, Shaquille's son, when he got to college, had the issue too. Right? That was when they found with Sharif O'Neal.
Oh, yeah.
With the heart, right?
Yeah, yeah. and he was done.
Yeah, because he really had a heart.
Yeah, he was done.
Yeah.
It was enlarged, I think, right?
Yeah. They actually.
I think it was enlarged. If I remember correctly,
he had an actual issue.
Yeah,
but
it's dangerous, bro. I mean,
man,
you saw Hank Gathers just die right on the court, bro.
True.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like all these silly, it's the vax. And it's like, bro, this has been going on forever. The Minnesota Vikings guy that flopped over in the heat.
Yeah, the lineman, right?
Yeah, it was like 10, 15 years ago. I forgot the guy's name, but we lost a lot. This has gone on. Athletes have had these kind of
no
issues
telling how many at small schools too that have gone that don't get the notoriety that all these
it's
Bronny
a number.
and
It's
them.
like 1 in 50,000. So there's a chance that we're a lot of us are walking around with some kind of little defect that some of us can live with for the rest of our lives. But if you're an athlete, you're pushing it. You know what I mean? And it could happen. This is not something that's new. It's been going on forever. It's just very rare that it happens. You know what I'm saying? But it does happen. I just hope he can play, because obviously there's a lot of risk there if you can't play. Don't muff the punt. Oh God. So it's got to a point where I can't even read anything that's on the chat board right now. It's just too much at this point. All right, so what's that? What'd he say? Calf issue. So that's it. He's just left it as calf issue. We don't know what kind of calf issue it is. Right. Yeah. No, people have torn their calves just like that, bro. Just like that. Sucks. So we've got the Tyreek video out. I explained to you why I think he might sadly get a game. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But the way I kind of read it, we talked about Dalvin Cook visiting the Jets and the Patriots. Broke that down for you guys. We talked about the Jalen Ramsey injury also. Today, Kohu intercepted Tua in a pass that was intended for Tyreek. A-Chain looking explosive out there. Ramsey broke up a deep pass also that was thrown by Tua. Higgy had a drop, getting Higgy with it. And remember, Tanner Conner is injured. So Higgy and Tanner Conner is kind of that experiment offline tight end. And so getting Higgy with it, unfortunately, ended up with a drop. Braxton Berrios, who I think most of us agree the perfect slot receiver for this team, for any team. Just a guy that's built for that position. Had a 68-yard touchdown, 38 of it in the air. 30 was Berrios running from Skylar Thompson, by the way. So Skylar apparently performed better than Mike White today, also in practice. Marlins defeated the Rays 7-1 yesterday. Sandy Alcantara, complete game, 9 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. Lowers the ERA to 4.46. Rays went 2 of 4 with 2 RBIs, batting .376. They're off today. Tomorrow, Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers are in town for a 3-game set. They also traded for right-hand pitcher and relief pitcher Dylan Floro. They traded Dylan Floro, to Minnesota, and they got back relief pitcher George Lopez. So get another guy for Holes. They've been having some trouble on the back end in the bullpen. USA women, not an impressive game last night. I got to say it was one of their worst games that I've seen in a while. The Netherlands ended up tying them 1-1. Thank God that the U.S. was able to get a score like in the 68th minute or something like that. They're still at the top of the Group E. They got 1 game left, so they're going to advance. But not impressed with the game yesterday by the ladies. I gotta admit. And Kylian Mbappe turning down $776 million. I know it's the Saudis, but I can't be a phony, bro. I'm taking $776 million. Tax-free, by the way. Tax-free, that money. I have to take that money because my daughter will never work again for the rest of her life, and her daughter and her son or whatever, if they have one or two or whatever, if she has it, I would do it just because I have to. I have no choice. I hate the idea of the Saudis and all that kind of stuff, but how do you turn down $776 million? And apparently it could have gone to $1 billion. So
I heard it was $1 billion because 300 and something million went to the team to buy him out, and then 776 went to Mbappe. So it was a $1.1 billion deal worked out for him.
That's crazy, dude. How do you just turn that shit down? That's insanity, bro. Insanity.
And by the way, Ian Rappaport came out, and I couldn't hear everything Zach Taylor was saying. Apparently, he said it was a calf strain.
Oh, really?
And
that's really good.
Yeah, they're going to take it day by day. He said Burrow sat down just to relieve him not do any more damage, because apparently he had a small calf injury yesterday, and then he thought he could push through the practice today, and
he couldn't.
That didn't happen.
Right.
So it doesn't look as bad, but that's going off what was just said now. I don't know if any tests or anything have been done.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about music history today on July 27th. On this date, back in 1974, Leonard Skinner released "Sweet Home Alabama." Never heard that song? Yeah, it's kind of popular. In 83, on this date, Metallica began their first tour. The trek was called "Kill 'Em All." That's right, "Kill 'Em All for One," that is. And it ended on September 3rd. In 76, on this date, Bruce Springsteen sued his manager, Mike Apple, for fraud and mismanagement. Apple countersued, and the legal action kept Bruce from recording for 15 months, time he spent touring. The case would later be settled out of court. In 2010, on this date, Avenged Sevenfold released their fifth studio album, Nightmare. And in 91, on this date, Bryan Adams started a 7-week run on the top of the charts with his hit song, "Everything I Do It For You." He sung that the other day. Amazing. What a voice. Still has amazing voice. Let's go with birthdays today. All right. We got some decent names today celebrating birthdays, except for Tony Lanez. He's the guy that shot, what's her name? The rapper, what's her name? But anyway, Tony Lanez, the one that got shot in the foot. What's her name? The big, thick girl. Damn it, what's the name of the big, thick girl that's nice and curvy? Good-looking girl, man. Triple H, by the way, is 54. The late young Dolph was born on this date in 85. We lost him in 21. Winnie Harlow, the model, is 29. Megan Thee Stallion. Thank you. Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, Tony Lanez is the idiot that shot her. And I think he got jail time for it, too. What's that? Yes, Dolph Ziggler's 43. Will you let me get to it at least? Jesus Christ. Ruining our birthday moments here. Alex Rodriguez, the phony ass one, is 48. Maya Rudolph is 51. Let's see who else is celebrating birthdays today. Master Ip. Donnie Yen. You ever watch Master Ip? The Ip Man? You've never watched the Ip Man? There's like 5-6 parts to different movies. Oh, you like kung fu movies? So you never watched Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris or anything? Oh, you got to watch the Ip Man. Anybody know the Ip Man out there? Come on, bro. Donnie Yen is a badass. He was, by the way, they included him in the last John Wick. You don't watch John Wick? What is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Jordan Spieth, by the way, one of the 400 great golfers that are out there, because every time somebody wins a green jacket, oh, he's the next great one. Jason Day is going to dominate. Golf is so desperate for a star. It's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious what a joke that sport is, how they latch on to every name that wins an Open automatically, and they say, oh, that's the next Super, that's the next Tiger, that's the next Palmer, that's the next Golden Bear, that's the next Gary Player. What are you going to say?
No, I say they just did it with one of the guys, I think, like a couple weeks ago. He, like, lapped the field, and then the next week he didn't even
he doesn't make the cut. Right, yeah. They're all like that, every one of them. Not one of them is Tiger. Not one of them is even Phil Mickelson. Okay? Not one of them is even Lefty. You know what they are? They are Lefty's boobs. That's what they are. A bunch of boobs is what ends up winning in golf nowadays. Oh, he's the next great one. Anyway, the great Norman Lear. Okay, this is the guy that created like All in the Family and stuff like that, and the Jeffersons and Norman Lear. He's 101 today. He's still with us. My man is 101 today. I mean, seriously, if you're 101 and you can still wipe your butt, brother, you are awesome. Todavía. 40. So, I mean, give me a break. That's impressive. Impressive stuff. So those are your birthdays today in entertainment history. You guys know that Sinead O'Connor passed away yesterday at 56. And Morrissey ripped into the media. And let me tell you something. He said some stuff that is all true, on target, and how phony people are. And hell, to a certain extent, myself. I got to throw myself in there, and I'll explain. So he talked about her passing and how people were praising her and in the media, and he goes, she only had so much self to give, Morrissey wrote on his website. She was dropped by her label after selling 7 million albums for them. She became crazed, yes, but uninteresting, never. She had done nothing wrong. She had proudly vulnerability, and there is a certain music industry hatred for singers who don't fit in this all I know too well, and they're never praised until death, when finally they can't answer back. The cruel playpen of fame gushes with praise for Sinead today, with the unusual moronic labels of icon and legend, Morrissey wrote. You praise her now only because it's too late. You hadn't the guts to support her when she was alive, when she was looking for you. The press will label artists as pests because of what they withhold. And then they'll call Sinead sad, fat, shocking, insane. Oh, but not today. Music CEOs who had put on their most charming smiles as they refused her for their roster are quelling up to call her a feminist icon. And 15-minute celebrities and goblins from hell and record labels of artificially aroused diversity are squeezing onto Twitter and to Twitter their jibber jabber when it was you who talked Sinead into giving up because she refused to be labeled. She was degraded, and those few who move the world are always degraded. It's pretty good stuff. And he says, was this music madness worth Sinead's life? No, it wasn't. She was a challenge, and she couldn't be boxed up, and she had the courage to speak up when everyone else stayed silently safe. She was harassed simply for being herself. Her eyes finally closed in search of a soul she could call her own. As always, as lame streamers missed the ringing point, with locked jaws, they returned to insultingly stupid icon and legend, when last week were words far more cruel and dismissive would have done. Tomorrow the fawning fops flips back to the online shift posts and their cozy cancer culture and their moral superiority and their obituaries of parroted vomit, all of which will catch you lying on days like today when Sinead doesn't need your sterile slop. Some pretty good shit by Morrissey. I'm sorry. And I got to tell you, years ago, I think Brian Spector was my producer. We were doing mornings, This is a long time ago. This is probably 12, 14 years ago. And I remember she came out with an article and we were having fun with it because she was talking about some of her tastes in bed. Okay, I don't want to get too graphic, but it was pretty graphic. And we were kind of laughing about that kind of stuff. And so she was kind of a little bit off the beaten path. There's no doubt about it. Hell of a singer, hell of a voice. I wasn't that big a fan of her music. You know, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and obviously Nothing Compares to You, and you know, she had a couple songs, but I never really got into her music. But there's no doubt she was as outspoken as it comes. No doubt. We ready to go? All right, let's do it. Let's get in. Alan Poupart and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Okay, all right. All right, maybe you need a hearing aid or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe I do.
You're getting old on me now?
I've been old.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm there with you. Don't worry about it.
No, I hear you.
Feeling it too every single day. Anyway, I know you don't have the final. None of us do. Your thoughts, obviously, on what you witnessed today with Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, very worrisome. What I can tell you is what we're allowed to report basically is what we can observe, and you know, got tangled up with Tyreek Hill on a pass play, and he's holding the back of his left knee, goes to the sideline, goes on the ground, getting checked out by trainers. Maybe I don't know if I don't want to speculate. I'm not a doctor, but then he hops on the cart, not putting any weight on his left leg. It's one of those where you're going to hold your breath until we find out more. Obviously, a big piece of the equation for this Dolphin defense. He had a hell of a play early in practice when he was like step for step with Jalen Waddle way down the field to break up a pass. And dude can play. So we'll, again, like I said, cross our fingers and wait to see what the news is.
The only good thing I will say about it, not that there's anything really good about it, but Dolphins did plan well because you did draft Cam Smith and you have Kohu. Mm-hmm. So you do have at least some bodies in camp. Obviously, Cam is a baby and he's got to, grow up and maybe grow up a little faster than expected. And Kohu, I think, also made an interception today off of Tua early in practice. So, and Kohu's healthy now too with the hand. At least the Dolphins have some depth there where they can at least, defend themselves at that spot.
No, they do. And I've liked everything I've seen of Cam Smith from the time, even from the offseason. He didn't have a great practice today. He was beaten on a long touchdown pass to Braxton Berrios from Skylar Thompson. He also had a play where it was a 7-on-7 where he would have gotten 3 flags thrown at him for a DPI. But for the most part, he's been really, really good. I've liked his coverage. He was on Jalen Waddle on one play in the first practice of training camp, and the coverage was really good. And I've always been of the opinion that for some reason, whenever the Dolphins cornerback core was mentioned since February or whenever it was, since the start of the offseason program, that nobody was talking enough about that guy. I think I can see him playing a significant role. That's even if Jalen Ramsey turns out to be fine, as we all hope he does. And Cater certainly seems like your slot guy. Xavier Howard cannot stop raving about the guy every chance he gets. Every time he's asked, which one of the young cornerbacks is impressing you, it's always Cater he mentions. Nick Needham is kind of an X factor in the equation. He's still on PUP, recovering from the Achilles injury. Exactly when he's going to be back in action, who knows? but they have other guys as well. They have Trill Williams is coming back from the ACL. Bryce Thompson, who looked really good in camp with the Dolphins in the offseason after coming over from the XFL, or in mini camp, I should say, who really hasn't had the chance to do much in the first 2 days of camp, but he's another guy who could be there. But the Dolphins do have a lot of depth at cornerback. In fact, it's probably their deepest position.
Yeah, no, that's why. And it's funny because I told Marcel this, and I'm sure you got it too, because I got it on DMs and emails and all that kind of stuff. Oh, why didn't we draft a corner? Why didn't we draft a running back, an offensive lineman, a tight end, a linebacker? You know, there were a whole bunch of other positions. They got Ramsey. Why did they do this? Well, here you go. You know what I mean? And here's where I give the front office a lot of credit. You know, they've hit on a lot of their secondary guys. Noah obviously was the miss, but they've hit on a shitload of other guys. But the plan a couple of years ago was Noah was part of, okay, you're going to develop and you're going to be the guy that either replaces Jones or X. Well, Jones is gone, but he failed. So now what you did is, well, you got Kohu, so now you're developing a young guy and you go and draft Cam Smith. And I kind of figure they're going to let go of X anyways next year. And Jalen's probably going to be here for a couple of years. And so you're going to need to start preparing for life after those guys. And that's what I think they're doing with Kohu and Cam Smith. Well, look what it goes. Now you're going to have to kind of, you know, maybe, unfortunately, you may have to fast track that now. And one of them will have to be prepared right away to fill in for Jalen Ramsey now. You know what I mean? So I like the foresight of the team. You know what I mean? I think that's been very smart. They tried it last time and it didn't work with Noah, but it's worked with some other guys so far. Now, hopefully, Cam Smith will be the next bridge to making that transition whenever you do make it down the line.
Because you have two complete studs as your starters right now, but they're also both very expensive, and both of them at some point are going to be too expensive to keep. And you do need other guys. And as you well know,
and once you start paying all those other guys, Phillips and Holland and Tua and Hunt, and you can't keep everybody, bro. You just can't.
You also can, even if it looks like a surplus at the time. Like I was completely cool with the Cam Smith pick. A little less of maybe more of an issue with Devon Achane, because that seemed to me like a luxury more. Because even if you say we already have enough cornerbacks, there's no such thing. You never have enough cornerbacks. And even if you remember last year, they kept bringing in guys. They brought in Mackenzie Alexander at one point in camp, and it was like he looked like a surplus, and all of a sudden he gets hurt and he's gone.
Right.
So yeah, and hell, if you wind up with having 7 complete stud cornerbacks, there's value there anyway. Even if you're forced because of roster configuration to make a trade, you're going to get good value in return for a cornerback.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, what did you like today?
A couple of young guys, Shine Mitchell-Agude, who didn't do a whole lot yesterday, was very noticeable. Raekwon Davis, that's 2 days in a row.
Really?
You're really feeling him in the running game. Contract year. And he's an important guy because they don't have a lot of depth on that defensive line. He looked really good. Let's see. Guys who stood out. I would say I made the point I thought all 3 quarterbacks threw the ball well today, better than yesterday. So that
Marcel says that Skyler's still ahead of Mike White. You agree with that?
He looks better in practice, but we've been told all along that Mike White's not a great practice player. And Mike White, I will say, had one throw today that was easily the most impressive throw I've seen him make since he joined the Dolphins. And that was like a seam throw to Jalen Waddle where he had some zip, which I hadn't seen before. So that's the thing. Yes, Kyler's got a bigger arm than Mike White, and chances are that there's some plays that they're going to look better.
He does have a big boy arm.
I still maintain that Mike White's going to be the number 2 quarterback, but maybe I'm wrong. I just have a hard time believing it's going to be Skyler.
Well, he has the experience, so
he has the experience
he has over Skyler. Skyler will have to make some big leaps and bounds in order to leap him and become that number 2.
And the Dolphins also.
And again, you know what? It could be a 2A, 2B thing when it is all said and done too. You just never know how it ends up working out. You know,
but
it's
here's
like,
the other thing: the Dolphins had a conviction when they went on and got Mike White as for the number 2 quarterback.
for sure.
Okay, they looked at him as a guy who really fits their scheme. He's a guy, gets the ball out quickly.
Right.
So I kind of think they had a vision for what he could be in their offense, and it's not going to be the fact that maybe he doesn't look as good in practice as Skylar Thompson does. That's going to keep him from making him the number 2. I could be wrong, but I pretty strongly feel he'll be the backup quarterback.
Did you see anything from Tyndall or my boy Cameron Good?
Cameron Good had one play where he just zipped by Keon Smith at the line and made a beeline to Mike White, which would have been a sack. Obviously, he kind of went to the side, not touching the QB. That was the one play that stood out. Didn't really notice him outside of that. And then Channing Tyndall had a chance to make a play. He had got a ball right in his hands. He dropped back into coverage. I mean, right in his hands, and he dropped it. There also was another play where he got into the defensive backfield on the running play, the offensive backfield on the running play. So he was more noticeable than maybe any practice I've ever seen from him, which is maybe a sign of progress.
A-Chain?
No, he looks the part. Here's the thing, and then I keep saying this. I see him and I see Savon Ahmed, and I have my binoculars, and unless I'm zeroing in on the second number on their jersey, I couldn't tell you who's who. I mean,
really? Isn't A-Chain a little thicker? Isn't A-Chain a little thicker than Ahmed?
No, if anything, Ahmed's a little thicker.
Really? Okay.
A-Chain's got better speed, but you don't notice that speed with the plays within a 5-yard area. I'm sorry, running a 4-3
until you're out in the open field is where you see it.
Correct. If you're running a 4-3 and the guy runs a 4-4, you're not going to notice a difference in the 10-yard area. Sorry.
Right.
So, but no, they both have a couple of runs where they look good. A-Chain had one today where started offside and he made kind of like a little bit of a jump cut to the outside, and it looked really good. Ahmed had 1 or 2 good runs as well. So again, this is why, to me, I don't know. Again, I love the pick of Cam Smith in the second round. Made perfect sense. A-Chain in the third round was a luxury pick.
Chosen, are they using him outside and inside, or because obviously Berrios had a big play today, and he's going to be a slot guy. So I'm wondering now that they're getting to the point of training camp, where's Chosen being used?
I don't know. That's something I can reveal, actually, based per the Dolphins reporting rules.
That's right.
What I can tell you is Chosen
Sorry.
today.
Sorry.
You're trying to get me in trouble, Big O.
Sorry. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Sorry.
He had a catch today. It was very, very, very quiet. I think he's been targeted once in the first 2 practices after having a very productive offseason. And Berrios was kind of the stud today with that long touchdown catch from Skylar.
I think he's going to be an SOB at that position. I think he's just perfect for finding just spots, holes in the defense, and just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be a safety blanket for Tua in a big time way. That's why I laugh at it's fun that Tyreek talks about 2,000 yards, but it ain't going to happen, dude. Yeah. In fact, you're not going to have more yards than you had last year, because I think now the ball's going to be spread out more. The backs are going to catch. They brought A-Chain here to use him. They didn't draft him to keep him on the bench. And he's going to catch passes, and he's going to run the ball too. And then I don't know I know Higgy dropped a pass today, and I know Tanner Connor's injured, but they're also experimenting with that offline tight end deal. And if those guys become pass catchers, that takes away from Tyreek. And the coach talked about how, hey, I got to run the ball more, especially, and so all of those things, I don't even think
it's fun talk, but it's like
I don't think he has more yards than he had last year.
I don't either, and he may be just as productive,
right?
And in a big picture, maybe even more productive if he has fewer yards, maybe more touchdowns.
Right, and key moments. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And right now, I'll tell you this: Elijah Higgins is battling the ball. I mean, I think he has a drop in each of the first 2 practices. It's like Tanner Connor's stock is going up, being on PUP the way Higgins is playing right now. He's not off to a great start.
Yeah, no, he again, that's kind of like it's not good, but it's kind of an experiment. We'll see if that experiment ends up working out, man, because it's kind of tough there. Offensive line, can we judge anything because we're not in full pads right now? No, right?
Not really. Nothing egregious one way or the other, and there's nothing or nothing that really stands out one way or the other. I can't tell you that there's one person who's like, blowing it up or messing up. Too early to tell from as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, that's how I would look at it too. All right, what didn't you like? What was something that you said, that was not good?
No. Well, I mentioned Cam Smith had a rough practice today. Drop passes, way too many of those. Higgins had one. Eric Azukama had a chance to make a low catch, failed to come up with it. It's one of those where there's nobody around him, make that catch. Tyreek had a drop. And I would tell you, Tyreek is not looking particular. Last year, he was dominating practice in the early days of camp. And right now, it's not happening. He's not looking particularly impressive. That I didn't like. Outside of that,
did Waddle drop anything? Because I want him to do a little better with that this year. Because I think
correct. That's for him to be considered like. I don't want to. I'm not going to get into the elite conversation and all that because that ruffles a lot of feathers. But that's the next step for him. He's got to become more consistent at catching the ball without question.
No, it's not. He lost a game all by himself with 2 drops.
Mm-hmm.
And he killed the team last year in one game. And so that's one thing that I pointed out last year. His game is fantastic. The one thing he's just got to tweak a little bit there. There's just a little too many drops for being an elite guy. Do you think Tyreek gets any suspension from the NFL?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
Follow me on this.
Go ahead.
Follow me on this because I think he gets a game, unfortunately. I hope not. I hope I'm dead ass wrong because a lot of Dolphin fans are all like, bothered with me right now on this. And it's not like I'm rooting for it, but I fear it. And I say this because, okay, so you smack him in the back of the neck. It wasn't terrible, okay? But you had a guy holding you back from it could have been a lot worse. And then you have a second go around where there are 6 left tackles keeping you from him. Again, to me, the anger issues he showed there were worse than the actual slap.
Correct.
Plus, the 2 incidents you had before, okay, you were coming into the NFL, all of a sudden now, the league is going to look at it and say, okay, it's not a big deal, but clearly there's an anger problem here. We need to send a message. And I think he gets a game solely on the anger, actually, more than anything else, because if it wasn't for his friend in the first go-around and then the other 6 left tackles, it could have been a lot uglier. And I think that that's the part that the NFL is going to see. This is a representative of our league. If we don't send him a message now and we don't discipline him for this, he's going to say, well, I can get away with all this stuff. And he's got to bring that anger in. So I wouldn't be surprised if, 1, they make him take some anger management classes, and 2, he gets 1 game just to kind of send a message because of prior stuff. Again, I'm not sitting here rooting for him to get a suspension or anything like that. I'm just looking at it objectively and from the league's point of view and the anger part of it. That because everybody, the slap wasn't much. Brother, that's not really the issue here.
Just the fact that you get close to him like that is wrong. So
yeah. It was terrible that he did that, but the fact is, dude, if they didn't restrain you, how ugly could it have been? So you've got an anger issue, and that's where I think he loses the 1 game. Your thoughts?
I can't argue with anything you just said. I think you make a valid point, and we were discussing this today at practice actually, and I think that kind of threw that out. That if I had to guess, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe he gets a game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not sitting here rooting for it, but it's just I kind of fear it because of his prior. If he didn't have any priors, I think he gets away with a fine. But because of the prior, and it was an anger thing too, because it was a domestic issue, and that's what shows in that video. He has a problem with anger.
Yep.
And that's where I think that the league's going to nail him for a game. That's just me. All right, what do you got going on in Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I mean, we're all over practice, like camp observation. I also wrote today about, obviously, the Jalen Ramsey injury, and we will update it as new developments warrant. Wrote about Dalvin Cook, where now it looks like the Dolphins are not going to have him on their roster, but they're going to face him twice a year, because my thinking is he's not leaving New York this weekend without a deal. And as you and I talked all along, that's the one team that always made sense for him because of the roster that they've built, their Super Bowl aspirations, and the fact that they have a stud running back who's coming back from an ACL. And it just makes so much sense. And now they got a little bit more money to spend after Aaron Rodgers took that haircut. So, again, you know, there are reports that the Dalvin Cook will visit the Patriots as well. After he visits the Jets, I get the feeling the Jets aren't letting him leave the building without a contract.
The Patriots are also interested too, man. So, you know.
Correct. If I'm Dalvin Cook, I think I go with the Jets before. Again, the money being similar because he may go where the most money is.
No Brady there. Less and less players are going to go there unless they offer the kind of money and they overpay, which, by the way, Belichick has been panicking lately, and he has been delving into free agency like he never did before. So, you know, he lost his honey pie, bro, because with Brady, so many guys would sacrifice to go there. Without that guy, man.
Yeah, because there's players who were chasing a championship maybe would sacrifice some dollars to go play with New England when they had Brady. They're not doing that now.
No dice. All right, follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL and catch his work, of course, at Sports Illustrated, and catch him here twice a week doing his thing. Poop, glad to have you back. Have a great weekend, my friend. I'll see you on Sunday.
Sounds like a plan. Take care.
There you go. Alan Poupart, baby. And our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
By the way, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, boy, they got the summer sales event going on right now. They are the #1 volume Acura dealer in the USA. They've been dominating for a long time. And right now, the MDX 2023, you can get it for $579 a month. The TLX 2023, $369 a month. The new Integra, have you seen the new Integra? That thing is beautiful. The 2024 is in $339 a month, and it is the Summer of Performance sales event going on right now. 3.9% monthly financing. Take advantage. Get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you, and I promise you they'll take care of you. They're at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. How much do you think the Jets are offering Cook? I'm going to say around 5.5, 6 maybe. No more than that, maybe. Don't know. I think the Dolphins are probably somewhere in the 4.5, 5 range. You know, that's what I think. Not telling you that it's guaranteed, but they're not gonna break the bank, bro. I told you that from day one. They're not breaking no bank. So it is what it is. What can I tell you? Anyway. We are out of here. We thank Marcel Louis-Jacques. We thank Alan Poupart. As always, we thank the great Sean Stanley, who masters this entire platform every single day. Tomorrow, we're back at 10 a.m. rocking and rolling. We'll be at Acura, right? Aren't we at Acura tomorrow? We are at Acura of Pembroke Pines, where you see that banner right around us right here. Check it out, folks. We'll be there at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. We'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great one. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.